Hello and welcome to Love at Lunch. My name is Leona Devin. I'm a coach and facilitator from Calgary, Canada, and I am excited to be here and talk about meaning today. And why is meaning so important? Because it is one of the 5 components identified in 40 years of research that helps us flourish. And if you're wondering what flourishing means, it means to live a life of contentment and happiness, and I say joy. So, we've been talking about those 5 components, and the acronym is PERMA. And so the first one was positive emotions. The next one was engagement. So doing something that helps us to lose track of time, maybe something we're learning to do or something that we're already good at, but we lose track of time, we're interested, we're absorbed. The next one was relationships and how to foster healthy and connected relationships, even during a time of COVID. And then today we are on meaning. And I know we're not supposed to pick favorites just like kids, but meaning is my favorite. And I will tell you why. Because meaning is highly tied into where we feel a sense of purpose in our life. And this is not about what is my sole purpose in life, but this is about those moments in life we can be doing the most mundane thing. But when it's in line with who we are at our core, we feel alive. So, meaning is one of my absolute favorite part of the flourishing 5. And so I'm going to read something to you. I love to be read to. So this is a baker at Sara Lee Bakery, and he described himself as a baker and a lover. And so a baker is what we do, but the lover part is the part of meaning and purpose. So, he describes this particular role. My job is to make sure that the product that we put out there is of higher quality. That's something that is dear to my heart, to put out quality products for our customers. At the same time, I want to make sure the people I work with love working with me, enjoy the fact that I interact with them, and the fact that I care about them. It's not just about the product. I care about the people I work with. I ask them how they're doing, how their family's doing, the little things that go a long way. The employees like to know that you care about their lives outside of work. I like to be part of their lives, know how they're feeling out of work. It brings me a lot of joy to my heart. I come home and I am happy that we put a great product out there and that the employees are enjoying working with me and doing a good job and loving what they do. Those are the 2 elements that I hold really dear to my heart. And so it's so beautiful to see how, yes, it's about producing a product and pleasing the customers, but it's really about loving up the people that he works with. So that is how we start to find our purpose. So think of those daily tasks that you go through and you feel something deeper there. You feel like this matters. And that's part of meaning. And if you're wondering where you could find more meaning, or if part of your life has lost its luster and you're like, I've had it with the stuff that I have to do, is it's really important to get back to our values. And so I'm trying to think of how to do this best. I'll put a link to my weekly newsletter. You can unsubscribe after this one time, but I'll put some tools in there that you can, that will help you define what your values are. I'll also put the signature strength test. So this work is the work of Martin Seligman. He is considered the father of positive psychology, and it's really important that we find the sense of meaning. A lot of us find it in volunteering, a sense of spirituality, our values, and he's created a validated character strength test that helps us understand, and by validated means that it's scientifically backed, really solidly researched, to understand who we are and what matters to us. And his research showed that when we do things that are in line with our character strengths, I would also say that's the same with our values, just based on where your values are actually in your brain that we start to feel lit up and our happiness increases. So knowing what your values are, quick little way to figure those out. Think of those people that you really align with and they light you up. What are those characteristics that they share with you? Maybe it's generosity, kindness, respect. Those are your values. Define what those values mean to you and see how they align with what you're doing. And maybe you're cooking dinner for your family and you are hating it, but you're like, oh my gosh, how can I show love to my family through this? It changes what is normally mundane into something meaningful. We think of the work of Mother Teresa, aside from the spiritual side, but the work was, and the volunteers just found such meaning because they were loving people while they were caring for them. They weren't just doing tasks of cleaning up, bodily fluids. They were loving people. So think of that. In the book, I ask that you write your eulogy. Please still buy the book. But that really helps us understand in our eulogies, we don't talk about how long of hours we worked. We talked about what we did to give back and to how we wanted to make people feel. So think about those things. A really important component. Back to the signature strengths. Martin Seligman's research showed that if you spent an hour diving into one of your top signature strengths, then your happiness and your sense of contentment and joy would increase substantially. I think it was about 25% within about over a month, but less than 2. So really, really good. That also showed that in people who had, in soldiers, because he gave it to the entire U.S. military, that their post-traumatic growth increased significantly and their post-traumatic stress decreased. So I will put the signature strength link here under the video, but if you want to know more about your values, I'll attach a tool in this week's and the signature strengths link in this week's newsletter. So if you do not get my Friday Love Note, which gets sent out at noon on Fridays, and you would be curious, every week you get a little bit of a wrap up of Love at Lunch and some of those tools as well. So always scientific based stuff to bring you more joy, and you can unsubscribe if you don't want it. But think about, if you're not feeling meaning now, think about places that you felt meaning before. Was there a value that was being honored there? And how can you do more things that create more meaning in your life? I promise you there is joy, 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 and such goodness when we can take things that we already naturally do or we're drawn to doing and feeling that greater sense of purpose. It's so delicious. The best treat ever. So I'd love to hear about what brings meaning to you. Meaning to me is a big part of one of my top values is love. That includes connection, kindness, all of those things. That's part of how Love at Lunch started to happen. So this is not a chore for me. This is a delight. My love notes on Friday make me feel good, knowing that there's always a couple people that respond and say, wow, Leona, this was really helpful. And even if they didn't, I want to spread more love in the world and I want people to feel more joy. So think about those deeper meaning and purpose. If you've got really brave, write out your eulogy and think about how you want to be remembered. But your life matters. You are here for a reason. It's an incredible gift. So use it well, my beloveds. And thank you for joining me on Love at Lunch. So great to have you all here today.